Welcome back. Another episode. It's never going to be perfect. It's the Never Perfect Podcast. Hanging out with my homie. What's up, T?
What's up, big dog?
How you doing, bub?
Good, man. Especially after Saturday.
Tell me.
We had our first annual gala.
Yeah, man.
160 some people raised over $50,000. I didn't even realize, it didn't feel like we were there raising money for Animal Friends and for Martha Fund. It felt like we were there just hanging out with a bunch of great people, which we were. Cigars smoking, games, table games, talking, pictures, red carpet, amazing dinner. Did you get the steak?
I definitely ate the steak, yeah.
The steak had a crust of something on top.
It did, yes. I remember it.
I don't even know what it was. It was incredible. And then the waitress was kind enough to bring me 2 extra pieces of chicken breast because I needed more meat.
Wow.
And yeah, they were incredible. It was just such a good time.
I'm actually disappointed that you just said what you said because I remember now the steak and whatever the heck was on top of it. But the food, it was probably the one single thing in the entire event that didn't go perfectly was during the dinner, the power went out,
Yep.
which caused a delay when the food got there. And so in my head, I started to panic about trying to rush to get through there because then all of a sudden we were way behind pace. The room started to get a little bit hot. So I wanted dinner to get out so that we could finish that portion of it and get people moving again to this, with the power being out and everything. And I was speaking right after dinner. I was doing my thank yous to everybody. And so I had started to think about that. And so I ate so fat. I literally brought it out and I just scarfed it down and didn't even really get to truly enjoy it and think about it. So anyways, that's probably you just made me a little sad there. I'm going to have to go back and get whatever the heck that was.
You need it.
I don't think it's on the regular menu.
I have no idea. I don't know. I want to know what that crust was on top. But
So St. Clair Country Club is where we had the gala. So we got to figure out whatever the heck was on top of this steak that they served us, right? But look, at the end of the day, it was basically a wedding. That's how I equated to. The planning that went into it was probably more than a wedding because you have to raise a bunch of money for charities. You got a bunch of sponsorships where, a wedding is just an invite. So it's like a wedding on crazy steroids. We had 150 plus people there. So it was basically a mid-size wedding.
You crushed it. Leandra, Jill, Dave, the entire team. My gosh, huge shout out. Kelsey. What I was going to say also, in typical Steelpoint fashion, we had the power out for 2 hours. And anybody that was there that I spoke to, which is a lot of people, say that was actually the best part about it, right? How many challenges have we come, me and you working together over the past 6.5 years, challenge after challenge, and it's all what you make of it. Thank God, Kelsey, her centerpieces were each centerpiece on every table, which there was a lot of table, was no exaggeration, 15 to 20 candles.
18 tables, I believe.
18 tables, 15 to 20 candles. And when the power went out, it didn't go dark because of all the candles.
Yeah. Well, I think, were all the candles lit already? I think maybe we just lit them all, or were they already lit?
I think they were lit.
Yeah.
They were lit. And,
ain't that crazy, right? Literally, I made the joke because she's crazy about all that stuff and like every little detail for her from a decor matters so much. And so we had, to your point, we had to carry all of those candles were in my living room for over a week. I had about 20 boxes of all these different things. But yeah, so the power went completely dark. And to your point, the ballroom that we were in was lit up. So all of a sudden it became, instead of like a ballroom dinner, it was like a candlelit.
It was amazing.
Like a candlelit, gorgeous, perfect setting dinner.
Yep.
Like I said, the only issue was there was no AC.
It got a little hot.
So it started to get a little bit hot in there. And I don't think a lot of people really noticed. I started to notice probably because I was getting ready to speak or whatever and then moving. But like right after that happened, I think, it was still out, but then they had so let's talk about how prepared everybody was.
Wow.
And like, again, to your point, our internal team, absolutely incredible. I made the announcement there where like my only goal was to host that charity gala, do an absolutely incredible job where I wasn't involved in much of the setup, right? I'm willing to donate as much time as we can from everyone in this company. We'll also donate a bunch of money, which is what we did for a lot of the cost to do certain things. But I think that morning I showed up around 11:30, 12 to see how everything was going and set up. There was a team of like 10, 15 people there setting up.
Crushed
Josh, Jess, right, his wife, Jill, Terry, her husband.
Natalie.
Right? Natalie's 3-4 weeks into being in the side of the company. She's there all day helping set up. the teamwork that went into all of those things, right?
Pete,
but then you know,
Pete
was incredible all day, all night, helping while there. Anthony, and you know, so when the power went out and that ended, but DJ had a huge battery in his car. They had lights to set up, so they set up like globe lights connected to the battery. The country club had another power back, so we got the screen back working again for it all. You know, they opened the doors to create some airflow. Just it was incredible, like
amazing.
How seamless, like basically a wedding on steroids went, and like how many people participated. And then to your point, you know, it didn't drop a beat as far as the energy, as far as people's excitement, as far as, you know, everybody having a good time. I honestly don't think it could have gone better.
It couldn't have gone any better. The dancing. It was funny. At one point, the DJ, I don't know, nobody really listened and heard him, but he's like, if anything happens from a natural disaster standpoint, everyone go to this middle room and this middle room. No one was paying attention. So I walked up to him. I'm like, why did you just say that? He's like, well, technically we're in a tornado warning right now. And I don't think anybody really knows. So I just wanted to make the announcement. I just laughed and we just kept going on with it.
Yeah, I didn't even care. I didn't have no, that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, it was a tornado warning.
So do we have a warning means a tornado touched somewhere?
I don't know. If you looked outside at a few points, the trees were bending over. It was pretty crazy.
What a night.
What a night.
What was your favorite part?
Oh, man. So many good conversations. That's it. Amazing conversations. I talked to Gary Tuckfeld's good friend, Bill, and his wife, Jane. Great conversation. Sat outside with them. Talked to a guy, Matt. Talked to Alex a lot. And then Danielle's new hire, Ashley. I got to talk to her and her husband and see some of, you know, hang out with Shannon and Sean and Carrie. So, yeah, it was good just being around great people, man.
Yeah. I think probably I literally bought myself time to come up with my favorite part of the whole night. And I failed to do so in this little short 30-second window. Obviously the conversations, right? Just talking to so many people, you know, for me, it was, you could genuinely tell the excitement in the room. So certainly being able to like take a step back in a moment and look around and see like everyone truly having fun.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times you go to events like that or you know, there's the chance you go to an event like that where it's like, I'm here because I'm forced to be here. Right, because you know it was a lot of sponsors, and sponsors bought a bunch of tickets, and so then they send their people to work for them, you know, or whatever, or you go because you feel obligated because you're connected to the company or whatever reason you end up being there, right? And then you try to make the most of it. It's like, oh well, I'm here, I might as well try to have fun. Where I can genuinely say I looked around and felt like everybody was having a ton of fun, and there was zero forcing of people to try to have fun. There was nowhere where you looked around and said, oh, they weren't having, you know, a ton of fun. And then the other side of it that I really thought was super cool was there was a lot of people that came that brought other people that I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't realize, like, it was a gala. It was an incredible night out. Obviously, I should have known. I marketed the heck out of it for months.
But we had no idea what it was going to be.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So.
Yeah. No, but like people would, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you brought your family members. And so it's like, yeah, I'm meeting moms, meeting sisters. Yeah. Meeting brothers of certain investors that we had. It's like, wow, I can't believe you actually brought you know, your sisters here.
Yep.
Like, that's super cool. So I think, and then they were genuinely having fun. Yeah. Right. And then the big thing about the casino, so there was casino games. Yeah. You know, I never know how they're going to go because I'm like, well, I don't want to play casino if I'm not gambling. Yeah. Right. But like they were packed. Looked like people were having a lot of fun. Really. Had craps there.
The dance floor.
The dance floor was going off. TJ, oh, that's you. Took his shirt off on the dance floor. I'm not sure quite why. Definitely was not the highlight of my night, but I may have forced him to do it.
Raised $500.
Yeah. Yeah. 500 I think we're going to hit 60 grand total.
I think
total raised.
Yeah.
Obviously it doesn't include, you know, a lot of our costs. So that won't certainly be the amount we were able to generate for the two charities that we chose. But
I had three things real quick that I also really loved about the whole day. So my wife, she's absolutely gorgeous, and events like this, she just has fun with it, shopping, and it's always to the last minute. We go on date nights and stuff all the time, but we don't go shopping like we used to before kids, right? Because there's always something to do. Well, that morning, woke up, her shoes didn't come that were supposed to come, and she needed some jewelry. So we actually spent like 4 hours that day just going out, shoe shopping. And it was like, wow, when's the last time we actually just went shopping together? Yeah. Well, she shopped, And I just walked up and down the aisles to get my step. But we were together doing it. And then number 2 was really cool, was at one point me, our CFO Anthony, and our Director of Investor Relations Pete, we were all around one guy trying to help him wire us $25,000 to invest with us. That was really fun. It didn't happen. The app wouldn't work, but I'm meeting up with him to get his check here in a little bit. And then the third thing, though, was like sitting back at one point and was like, I am so honored to be a part of this. Like, we have been talking about getting our charity arm really up and running for 6 years. I think it's been on one of our 10-year target, 3-year target, whatever. Mm-hmm. And like to sit back and like think about, after all these years of like giving in so many different ways, but to be there with 160 some people, this amazing event going on, people there that are our investors, our family, our friends supporting it. I'm just like, I was taken back, and still today, I think I texted you yesterday and talking today, just so grateful, man.
Yeah. And so to iterate on that even more, I had no idea it was going to turn out to this, but this Zeffy app, shout out to the Zeffy app, whatever the heck Zeffy is. Well, not whatever the heck Zeffy is. It's an app that you can run your events on, apparently. But we weren't allowed to do raffles because of the license and the nonprofits that we are from a compliance perspective. And so we shifted it to be a silent auction. And boy, did that have a great success. I had no clue that it was going to be so awesome for a couple reasons. Number one, first and foremost, all of the donations that were given by everybody that had something that was part of the silent auction. So I think there was maybe, I don't know the number, 15 or 20 items that were silent auctioned, from David Allen, custom suit from David Allen was auctioned off, to a night in Deep Creek, which was auctioned off, to
Lucy Lane.
So come on, don't steal my thunder. Sheesh. Because also there's a little bit of ways that we ultimately improve too, but there was the golf package, which was amazing. Custom set of Avoda clubs.
That was crazy.
Right? Plus golfing at St. Clair and Chartiers.
That was
all
a crazy
part of one.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely fantastic. And then to your point, there was a ton of other baskets and little things that you could get. And I think we probably didn't do as great of a job promoting and marketing those, because certain ones I feel like people got crazy good deals on, such as the Lucy Lane home decor basket, which wasn't a basket at all. It was an entire shelf with a bunch of decorations, and it was a huge thing. And that night, I found out my brother bid and won that one. So when we say bid and won, it was a silent auction, right? So you bought it.
Yeah.
But he got a great deal on that thing, man. Because I think the problem was a little bit of people didn't see and really see everything that was out there, like truly, and some of those baskets and what they were. Or I think that would have went for significantly more at the end of the day. But I went for I think that went for under $100.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I would like to see him get that home.
It's probably, well, I don't know. He must have got it home somehow.
It was a show. Jen brought a big bag to stick everything in. So he probably did that.
Yeah, because I think the only thing that was still left there was, there was a painting. So we had the live painting. We had a girl there, an artist, a local artist that paints for a living. She did a live painting while there in front of everybody. I know Jeff and Amber bought that one because the painting was the city skyline with a bunch of palm trees in it.
Yep.
So that was really cool.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh with palm trees, right? And they have, they have investments down in Florida. They go down there a lot, so it kind of touched them to have the palm trees inside of the city skyline.
Yeah.
So they ended up winning that one. I do think we can do a little bit of a better job next year on the race. And so we did the auction, right, where it was like a minute or two left and people could go on and finalize it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little bit confusing what we were actually doing there. I couldn't, but
I mean, it was our first time.
Certainly not critiquing anything that we did, right? And I said that to Kelsey yesterday. I said, there's zero critique that I could do for anything we had the whole night. And I critique everything.
Yeah.
I was like, but I genuinely can't. Certainly there's some things, some opportunities to get better at for next year.
Yeah.
Right. But why wouldn't you want to get better for every single year? And it was like little things. Again, I heard Alex say this morning, the barcodes were too little to scan.
Yeah.
Right. Again, I think probably it was like, we just need to do a better job of showcasing
the
great donations.
The only
from
critique
everybody.
I got from people, and I'd say this is kind of a crazy critique, is like we could have done better at pushing harder to get people to spend their money. I did. I got that from two people.
Really?
We could have got better at pushing people harder because people show up. They know if they're going to a gala, spending X amount of ticket, that they're there to spend more money. And we purposefully had conversations about not pushing people harder because we didn't want them to feel like they were being pushed to spend money the whole time. And so it's kind of funny. It's like, we should have pushed you harder to spend more money. And the answer, like, that's what people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we did. I think the mix was decent.
Yeah.
You know, age, experience, different things there. It was a good mix, right? But to your point, I was the one pushing hard, you know, not to push the guests a ton to be spending all their money there. Make it so if they feel comfortable, if they choose to, they can. So I do think we did a good job there. I think we just didn't showcase the items enough.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to like run around like pushing people hard to spend more money. I hate when that happens. But showcasing and allowing people and making sure there's a plenty of opportunity to do that is probably the better answer.
Yeah.
I think we could have did better there, but I don't love the idea of crazy hard soliciting of capital where
I agree.
It's like me up front with a thing begging people to increase the price, right? It just puts undue. I don't like being in the crowd when that happens.
It's like a backhand compliment, really. Like you guys care enough about people to have a good time that you're not pushing them harder to spend money.
Which, speaking of, I sure do wonder what that bar tab was.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. It was a line the whole night at the bar for sure, and you know, everyone was having fun.
Outside, at one point I was out there smoking a cigar, and I think there was at least 20 to 30 people out there smoking cigars.
What was the cigar situation?
The lady had organic cigars, hand rolled. Like she gave me a 20-minute schmill on it, and they were like $15 to $20 a cigar, and they were really good cigars.
Did we just buy them, or were they?
You bought them. Yeah, you had to buy
Did she get all the money, or was there a donation as part of that?
I have no idea. Huh. I know a lot of cigars were being bought though.
Because then my brother was saying like the small after party that somehow occurred at my house, which was definitely not planned. He was saying something about the lady said that somebody bought a box of 40 and they were out or something. But
wow.
I was like, I don't think we did that, but I also have literally absolutely no idea. So, so I'm gonna have to talk to Leander to figure out, get to the bottom of.
I would hope some of it went back to charity, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's whatever happened. It's not you could.
I know the David Ellen table was backed up. She got a ton of action. I was talking to Sammy. She got a lot of action, so that was cool.
I'm sure great brand awareness for everything that they were doing, and I mean, we are all wearing suits and tuxedos and dresses, and I think that's the other thing that I probably very much took for granted. What goes into that part of it, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I go all the way back to when I decided we're done messing around, we're going to get this thing going. It's like a gala, and it's like you don't realize what a gala is and what all goes into a gala. Again, the planning was 6 months of legitimate weekly meetings and planning to host that thing is crazy, right? But day of getting dressed, I'm like, Kelsey's like, you do know that you have the kids all day. I'm like, what? You know, she had to set up in the morning. She's like, then I got to go get my hair done, you know, and this dress. And so it was like a big ordeal. Her mom came out to like look at her before she went. Like,
it was like prom.
Yeah, correct. And she made a post the other, like, you know, circa prom was a photo of us or whatever. Like, but I think for me, I just, you know, take it for granted or totally forget that, oh my God, like there's a lot even just goes into the women dressing up to come to this gala in the friggin' first place of all of that, right? Even just to make it happen. So I'm blown away.
Yeah, me too.
And I was a little hungover yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. I was maybe at that bar a time or two.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were.
Well, I was early on. The beginning, you know me, man. Like I'm not good at working in a room.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually awful at working in a room. So early on, it was a little
getting comfortable.
A little rough getting comfortable for me. So the liquid courage helped early on to kind of get comfortable. You know, everyone's walking in there. My job's to say hi to everybody. It's like, oh, this is really not great. I'm not great at this.
I've watched you from the corner of my eye working it. You did a good job.
Yeah, I usually just go find someone and I'm comfortable with that I hadn't talked to him and talked to him for good. Longer, deeper relationships, TJ. Not very quick, high, short. How you doing? Moving on. So what else is good, man? So coming off a gala like that, right? Your job. So obviously, look, let's call a spade. And the reality is, why do we do it? We do it for a lot of reasons. I did a podcast recently on or at least talk to it on a podcast around what are the benefits of an event like that and what comes from it, both from obviously the number one benefit of why we do it is because we want to give back, right? We want to have a good time, but we want to give back to amazing charities. We want to support the people that run those charities, obviously our investors, going all the way back to why we did it. Gary Tuckfeld's an incredible investor of ours, a good friend of ours, and we wanted to honor him with a charity because obviously we can't just give him money. He wouldn't, like, this is not how it works, so we did it. And then there's the other side of it, right? Obviously it builds brand, builds a name, builds a reputation, and creates a ton of relationships. 150 people there as part of the Steelpoint Foundation. Obviously Steelpoint Foundation is part of Steelpoint Capital. It's part of the humans and everything we're doing there. And so it's not just obviously for the charities, even though that's a big part of it. There's also other gains and momentum and positive things to come from it. So a guy like yourself that runs the investors and relationships, runs the investor side of our Steelpoint Capital team and company and business, what does an event like that do for you? And then how do you work? Why don't we start there, right? What does an event like that do for you? But then two, how do you create and take the momentum that comes from that and work it?
Yeah. Well, what it does for me, everything I already said, the gratitude, but it just reinforces, like, when you do things that reinforce what you say and who you are, it just, to me, it's just fuel to the fire of excitement. You know, I'll say it a million times a day: build happiness, transform lives, strengthen the community. So coming off of that, number one, at the event, I was able to have so many meaningful conversations. I was able to have conversations where I identified new capital raise opportunity.
So you were working.
I was working. I mean, I was talking with a guy. He was the husband of a new hire, and I found out he switched his job a couple years ago, identified an old retirement account. He already rolled that one over, but he has some money in a money market, and then his wife also has an old retirement account. So we can help them tremendously. And then a potential investor who was supposed to come in with us last week and didn't, was there. So I didn't even bring it up to him, but just being there and being around us, he's like, all right, I'm ready to come in. You know, and then I had another guy come up to me who wants to potentially engage in our coaching, use our lending, and potentially invest. So just seeing who we are and what we do of build happiness, transform lives, and strengthen community, seeing that in a real way makes people like, wow, these people are genuine, right? Having Alex get up and talk, Leah get up and talk, you get up and talk. You did a great job when you got up and spoke about just speaking from the heart. Hearing Martha Fun get up and talk, that was amazing. That whole story, that whole history, and hearing Animal Friends.
Kevin Dixon.
She did a great job getting up front. So the momentum that comes from that is, this morning, not relation to that at all, I get a text message from one of our coaching clients and borrowers who says, hey, I want to introduce you to my good lifetime friend who was a wide receiver for University of Pittsburgh, and I want to introduce you to him. And he probably has 50 to 70 grand to invest. So, of course, I'm like, I got a meetings coming up. I try to get him on the phone right away. I'm walking around in the parking lot with my shirt off, getting some sun, talking. And it comes, the conversation is the normal conversation, but coming off of an event like that, it's like more energized. And then we're just talking about life, talking about investments. He has 19 years clean and sober. I have 20 years clean and sober, talking about all those things. And then we talk about the investments. And then he's like, I just go into, of course, we just had our gala on Saturday, and this is what we did. And we have this golf outing coming up, and this is what we're going to do. And there, he's like, you could tell the whole tone of the conversation changed. It went from like a discovery call to like, how can I move forward? You know, I'm not using it as a sales piece, but I'm just using it for a reality of evidence of who we are.
Yeah.
And I tell people, when you invest with us, you join our family, you join our team, and you become a part of doing these things that we're really doing. You get the newsletters, you get the quarterly calls, you get the investor dinners, and you're getting invited to these things, you know? And then he got really excited about that. So it's hard to put into words, but like, that's the reality of how it plays out in my life.
Yeah. I think to your exact point, right? I always used to tell friends, like I hate soliciting from like friends, but I do it. It's not soliciting, right? It's giving them an opportunity, which is the truth, you know, but I always say, man, come in for the minimum. And that way you can come to the Christmas party, come to the investor events and be a part of what we're building. And even more so now, I feel like it's so real. It's like, we've got these charity events. We got a gala every year. We're going to have the golf outing area. It's like, you're really coming into like, it's not like you go put money in Tesla. And I'm not saying don't put money in Tesla.
Yeah.
Put money in Tesla. It's a great investment. Put money in it, wherever you want in the stock market. Right. But like, you're not becoming the investment stops there.
Yep.
And the only interaction that you have with that investment is every once in a while, probably checking your Fidelity account on your phone.
Yep.
Like that's the extent of it. Or having a money manager that you go meet quarterly and see a statement and talk to them, right? Yep. You're not getting to go to investor events on a regular basis, to galas, invites to back galas, right? The community, there's 200 people, everybody there, right? If you went to that event, think about and you wanted to connect with people and understand what other people were doing, be a part of a community. Think about that opportunity that you have there, about all the other people, the different companies there. There was like 25 sponsors of companies, right? Maybe you're looking to change a job, right? Like whatever it is, there's so much opportunity that comes from investing with us. It's no longer just an investment. It's becoming a part of a company, a part of a community that has a real mission that's really helping a lot of people out in the communities of what we're doing. So I do got to address one comment because it was pretty funny. I got made fun of late night when I spoke. Which I don't believe this, but there's a tendency when you have young children and you have animals, right? A lot of people have animals, such as dogs, and then you have kids.
This is funny.
What happens is the dogs in your house maybe aren't as important during that period of time as the children that you have. Yeah. And I think every parent would probably tend to agree with me there.
Yep.
But when I was in front, I had said something a little bit similar to that, which...
You said you pushed the dogs to the side.
Yeah, we pushed the dogs to the side, which I didn't mean it in any literal type of way other than like... I have little kids too. It's hard to give the dogs as much, but obviously the charity was for animal friends and dogs. And so it kind of was like, so my brother and a couple other people, maybe even you, was making fun of me. Yeah. I don't remember who all was making fun of me for it, but it was like, man, Alex, of course. Yeah. You shouldn't have said that about the dogs.
You're like, I don't think Animal Friends is going to like this comment.
Did I say that out loud?
You said it out loud.
So anyways, I probably, again, when you literally didn't prepare, you kind of were speaking from the head. I prepared a little bit as to who I was going to thank, but I guess I definitely wasn't in my prepared statement that I was going to say, but it came out.
It was everyone understood. I think everyone understood.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like,
can't be perfect.
Regardless if I say that or not, we literally are throwing that event to raise a bunch of money to help animal friends. So It's
funny that.
What are we going to do here, right? So this week, what do you think's we going to get some investment after this week from the gala? You think?
Yeah. I'd say 100% we are.
Yeah.
Minimum. Go on the light end, conservative 100,000, upwards of 300,000.
Is it cool? I mean, I think it is pretty cool. I'm curious your thoughts. Like, I mean, there was some people from our high school there. Right, the relationships, things like that created. Yeah. Like, I mean, it goes back so many years. My whole family was there.
It's crazy, man, to think back of like how life takes turns. We told my story before, but my granddad paid for me to go to Canavan my sophomore year, and changed my life. Met my beautiful wife at Canavan, and a lot of my good friends, your brother Sean and Shannon, your sister-in-law, and me and you are in business together as a result of going to Canavan together. Mm-hmm. We weren't together at the same time, but if I never went to Canavan, then we probably wouldn't be in business together most likely. And so it's amazing just the relationships you have, and when you keep them and you treat people right and you try to do the right thing, you never know how it's going to play out in the long run. You met your wife went to, I don't know if you and Kelsey started.
Not years later, but we both went to Canavan.
But you both went to Canavan.
Well, she, my sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Your sister, and you think
they were friends, is what I know.
Gig's a partner in the company, Canavan. Pete, our director of investor relations, Canavan. And Carrie Meyer was there, who's a good friend who knows Al. I didn't know her and Alex actually know each other from Chartier's Country Club.
Really?
Yeah, they were talking a long time about that. So I gotta bring out two of my favorite shirts. This is my. They're both from junior year.
Of course, the cutoff there.
The cutoff. The Casey will argue it, the best team in Canavan history, right here, 2000 into 2001.
What's the back of that say?
It says, This is Lou Fanny's dad. Lou Fanny's dad owns a screen printing business, so he made all of our shirts. Work like a champion. It's more than a game, it's survival. 2001.
Nice.
We were the whack pack defense. I think we gave up like one touchdown all year.
I'm almost certain there's 0% chance that Tommy Vina could have covered me. So shout out to Mr. Tommy Vina himself. Actually, TJ's cousin, who was, I think, probably your corner back then.
He was one of our corners.
Yeah, there was 0 chance he could have covered me. So we had to put up at least 50 on you. But keep going.
All right. And then we got this shirt is the, what's this one say, Case?
I can't even read it. It's so worn in 2000 Ohio Valley Conference champs.
Yep. That was good, man. Sean was the quarterback. Tommy was the wide receiver. Just good memories. Roman's one of our investors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a lot of good people. And it's those relationships you built. And then we both went to Duquesne. And those relationships have lasted for years from Duquesne. And I know a lot of the relationships you have from prior companies you worked for. A lot of those guys are investors for us today.
Yeah. I mean, like a perfect example is BDO. They do our taxes. They're a sponsor. They were there. The connection for them, why they were there, Daniela was there, who was a college friend of mine at the time, right? She was there having a good time. Talked to her for a little while. So, like, that was cool, right? So, to your point, man, it's like the relationships you build along the way are ultimately going to be what creates your success. Yep. And it's like the earlier you start, the better off you are. Funny story, you even say something like that. Christo and his wife were there. Christo works for Revive here, but I went to grade school with Christo.
Wow.
And so his wife, I think, also is probably a Seton or Canevin alum, but from back in grade school. So, like, there was a ton of grade school connections there, and they were hanging out with Kelsey. I saw a bunch of some photos servicing around kind of those relationships being rekindled live. There's a photo upstairs here, actually, me and Christo back in, like, I don't know, first grade.
That's crazy.
Together, right? Dating all the way back to literally the childhood. So it's really cool to be, the last thing that I'll say, it's like to your exact point of Canevin of, going even back to grade school, hosting a charity with 150 plus people, 160 people at St. Clair Country Club. I would say as a kid, I didn't even know where that was, let alone know how to get there, let alone be invited, let alone be let in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
and hosting.
Now I'm there hosting, a charity event that's raised $60,000 in revenue.
What a blessing,
and charity
man.
donations from human beings to come to that place, right? It's like, man, it's pretty surreal, right? Work hard. To your point, build really, really strong relationships. Do what you say you're going to do. Take care of people and be genuine in your thoughts, minds, actions, and everything that you do. And, all of a sudden you be having 160 people as the host at St. Clair Country Club eating some steak that was delicious with something crazy on top of it, right? Like, just
crazy.
It's wild how it all full circle comes into play. And to your point, man, like the word that summarizes it all for me without a doubt is just like grateful.
Yep. I think back I bring it up all the time. 6.5 years ago, I'm meeting you on the North Dutchtown, running my business, knowing I want out, just freaking like scrambling. You're just quit your job, started your own company.
I got fired.
Fired. Sorry, I messed up. Buying real estate. You had a $20,000 loan you were living off of. And we were just like conversations for months, walking through grocery stores, at gas stations, walking out of the house with my wife and kids. And like 6.5 years later, like, wow.
I mean, if you really think about it, not that, irrelevant to today, good or bad, but it was like, you were struggling through certain financial pressures in your business.
Yep.
I couldn't even buy a Starbucks, even if I wanted to buy a Starbucks. Right. And here we are hosting a charity gala at St. Clair Country Club.
Incredible.
$60,000 for charity.
Yep. What a blessing, man.
Right. And we're just getting started. That's probably the coolest thing about all of this is we're just getting started on what we're doing. To your point, September 28th, I believe. So very late in the season, the first annual Pat Quinn Memorial Golf Outing. We're having it at Chartiers. I know that thing's going to sell out quick, not because of me, but because of my man and my father, and how many people loved him and all that he did for this world and this community. So excited to kind of get that launch and get to going. The goal was to get Leandra maybe not working as much on this one as she did the gala. I think might have taken years off of her life for this first one, but at least it's all done, right? The second one and years going forward won't be as tough.
Yeah.
Put those candles in a box somewhere so we don't have to save those for
I
next
know
year.
Kelsey's going to have a whole different, those won't even be there.
She goes, I think she was, I asked her what she spent on, like just the decoration so far herself on top of everything else. And it was like a couple grand. I'm like, she was like, but the good news is we can save it all for next year. I was like, touche, well worth it, right? Well worth it for us to give that donation and be able to create the success that we had. And I know she would never cut any corners. So I kind of had a feeling that was going to be the case. So we're happy to, that was my big donations though, and all the time and everything we put into it, as opposed to buying a golf round with myself. I figured that probably wasn't the best use of my money. So I stayed off Zeffy for the day while we were there. I'm assuming you probably did the same.
I wanted to. It
was hard.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know what was going on because I was just having great conversations the whole time.
You were working. Any last comments, man?
Oh man, I appreciate you.
Anything else you want me to add here?
No, I appreciate you. We covered it all: relationships, gratitude, golf outing coming up, and I mean, while we're talking about it, real quick, like we got someone who's we used for we've lent to. His name's Donnie. I always have a hard time saying his last name. Ostillery. He's committed to our boy Brady McDonald's kicking off on I think the 22nd July. His 50 Ks in 50 states in 50 days to raise over $1 million for Make-A-Wish Foundation. And his stop here in Pittsburgh is
really quick. Let's just stop there real quick and address 50K. So it's 31 miles, 31 miles every single day for 50 straight days in all 50 states in order to raise $1 million for Make-A-Wish, which is 100 Make-A-Wish, making wishes granted for children. It's insane. Go ahead.
Stop in August 13th is here in Pittsburgh. It's going to start at 5:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. downtown. Me and you will be there for some of it. No, we're not doing the 50K. I'm not. Maybe you are.
No, we got our next challenge.
We're doing the Grand Canyon beginning of October. I can't wait. Yeah. Rim to rim. But so Donnie got him and at least 2, if not 4 other firemen that are going to be part of it. And it's going to be firemen. There's going to be, I think, some wrestlers there, some football players, maybe some policemen and some veterans. So can the toughest people in the toughest city in the country keep up with the ultra marathoner Brady McDonald? And Donnie's leading the way. So he's bringing all the firemen. They're going to have fireman things on, and they're going to keep putting them on Brady as he's running to make it harder and harder. So big shout out for that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
I love that. So what's the day for that one?
August 13th.
August 13th in the morning. I mean, look, what Brady's doing is just insane. And Brady's one of the greatest, nicest humans that I've met. We've already, been a part of, helping him raise money. In other ways, shapes, and forms. He's run 300 miles to raise money and all of the things that he's doing for charity. So the fact that he's coming to Pittsburgh as part of his 50 states, we're really excited to lean into that. So good call getting that announced, and awesome that Donnie and crew's going to be a part of that. So that's a really cool way to market it and try to continue to raise money. So appreciate that, man. Yep. Listen, until next time, you heard it all today about the gala, about what charity can do for you as a human. And how it can make you feel good in your organization. So thank you so much to everybody that was a part of our gala, everybody from Canavan to T and to all of the things. So we appreciate you. Would love for you to continue to like and follow and learn what we have going on here at Steelpoint all day. Like I told you, it's never going to be perfect, but we're going to bring you what's going on inside of our lives, inside of our business, so you can see what's real, what's behind the scenes, and what's really happening, and not all the fluff. So thanks, and we'll see you next time. Until then, it's never going to be perfect, but keep it rocking. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.